So this last weekend was our October Commoner Crawl event here in Portland, Oregon, USA. And as you can imagine, the heat was dialed up a bit with the Commoner Battle Hardened on the horizon. So what I'm going to do today is recap that event very briefly and then go over the top 4 decks from the day. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to the channel for another installment of Dice Commando. And today we are recapping our October edition, so to speak, of the Commoner Crawl series that we do mostly monthly here in PDX. And this is exciting, right? Because we are inching ever closer to the Calling Portland coming November 22nd to 24th. Along with that, of course, is the first ever Commoner format Battle Hardened, which is so appropriate to our little city. I'm also pleased to announce that I am giving away a free entry into that Commoner Battle Hardened here on the channel. To be eligible for that, all you have to do is leave a comment on this or any other video between the dates of November 1st and November 10th, with the winner to be announced on November 11th. So the details for this, it was over at Old Market Pub. It was on the west side, so wasn't sure exactly how many people we're going to get because sometimes the east side folks don't want to travel, but you also have the fact that the Commoner Battle Hardened's coming. We also expected the level of competitiveness to be significantly higher. As many of you who followed the series in the past know, sometimes we don't see IRAs, we don't see all the top tier heroes because people just want to come out and have a good time and have fun. But again, I expected the heat to get dialed up, and oh, so it did, with one interesting little thing that happened. So what I have up right now is the breakdown, including the top 4 of the event. So top 4 was Dylan, Sean, Cameron, and Jude on Ira, OG Dash, Katsu, and Icelander. But you'll notice there's no Chane. So we had 3 Iras, myself included. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Icelanders, but no Chane. Everybody just keeps trying to play. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great. Everybody just keeps trying to like play the meta or out meta and like, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do this. I think it's hilarious, right? And I think this is exactly what we're going to see a lot of at Commoner Battle Hardened. I think the folks who show up because they found something that said that Ira was the best, might be a mistake, or Chane's the best, or whatever it might be, might have a different day than somebody who showed up just prepared to play what they wanted to play and were teched for the field. So very, very, very interesting. Also some shout outs. So Nate Davis was on Betsy. Got to play him round 5. I took that down, but only barely. Betsy's a thing. We had Joshua on Max, 2 database dashes. So Alex Burnett's been working on his as well as Teak. We talked about that before. And then we also saw Stephen Goddard on Terra. That's right. He left Dromai behind to go on Terra. And man, that the pump and thump Terra, that's got some potential. All right, now going into, as I mentioned, the top 4, we had an Ira, a Dash, a Katsu, and an Icelander. 3 of these individuals are not new to this type of series where we recap their decks. Jude, of course, is an amazing player in the area. Came out trying to get, right, he doesn't usually play Commoner, but, you know, now that there's competitive stuff on the line, Jude's coming out, came out with Icelander, and of course, as we would expect, did quite well, and was able to top 4 on that. I actually played Jude, I think it was round 3. Yeah, I played Adam on Icelander round 3, went down to that, and then I played, my other loss was Jude on Icelander as well with my Ira. But alas, I did not top 4, so let's go ahead and go into it from the top. Well, we'll go into Cameron's first. So Cameron, this is a very similar deck to what we had seen before, obviously with some of the new changes. Now Cameron is very, very effective with Katsu. So you can see on the equipment there, Vest the First Fist, Tearing Shuko, Pouncing Paws, Mask of Many Faces so that he can call whatever he needs at the time, double Kodachis, and then Null Hood, Glove, and Boots. No Tide Flippers there. It's really not relevant to him, right? So it makes sense to just go Boots. And you can see he's got them in the case. He's got the shiny Boots. Now, this was really cool. If you look there on the sideboard, you have Arcane Clarity Red and Arcane Clarity Yellow, right? 1 copy of the yellow. So Arcane Clarity is becoming very, very, very popular instead of Oasis Respite, which makes a lot of sense in these decks that don't want to pitch for it. We have 2 Sink Belows. We have Pouncing She ×2. We have a She Unleashed. We have 2 Surging Strike Red and 2 Surging Strike Yellow. Makes sense because he wants to start the chain. We have head jab times 2, 1 open the center, 2 leg taps, a red rising knee thrust, 2 descendant gust waves, because it just has 1-3 go again. It's pretty good. Whelming gust wave, okay, 1 salt the wound yellow. And then we go into that right side there. We have 2 scars, 2 soul beads, and 2 bittering thorns, all red. And then ride the tailwind and be like water to finish out the reds. Going into the blues on the far side, 1-2 punch to follow up with a head jab. Whelming gust wave blue, rising knee thrust blue. Nothing new there, right? They're great cards. Like rising knee thrust blue is amazing. Coming off of a leg tap. We have wounded blow, soul bead strike to round out the blues. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blues. Okay. Pretty good ratio there. Plus he's got some yellows in there. Now do note that the yellow, aside from Salt the Wound, Surging Strike's not Kodachi fodder. But what he's trying to do, right, is he's trying to do Katsu combo. Right? So not only can he hit, but he can also best of the first fist if he needs to and get it off. So nicely done, Cameron. You're extremely effective with this deck, and thank you very much. Right, next, let's go into Dash. So shout out to Playtime and some other folks out there who, whenever we have one, they're like, where are all the dashes? Well, we had dashes in spades, lots of dashes for this one. So this is Sean Cowan's deck, placing second. So we had, he was on Talishar. He did have the shotgun in his sideboard, but he was mainboarding Talishar. That's the first fest, accelerators, and then Goliath gauntlets, and then Teklo base head, because it doesn't really matter on that one as long as you get your 1. And then he has AB 3 with the gloves and the hood. Remember, your Achilles boots also have AB. Going into the board, he's got Big Bertha, red and blue, Zipper rainbow, Crankshaft rainbow, Jumpstart rainbow, 060 rainbow, Throttle rainbow. He has 1 hyperdriver, 1 overblast, a combustible courier times 2 red, and then rev up, and then 1 cheeky 0 to 50. And I think it's funny whenever we put that in, people are like, why that? And I was like, because it is. And then rounds it out with 2 red payloads. All right, is Sean cutting any super tech here? No, he's not. He's just a damn good player with a damn good deck, and that'll get her done. All right, next, moving into the Icelander, which was Jude's in 4th place. Fun fact, this is actually Sean Cowan's deck, just lent to him, and it's a little out of date, but still extremely effective. So if you look at the loadout, we've got Iron Gauntlet and Iron Helm, which makes a lot of sense because you're trying to play in your opponent's turn. A lot of times you can utilize the 1 floating. Mage Boots, Null Boots, Spell Cloak, Null Hood, Waning Moon, of course, and then Goliath Gauntlet. I like the Goliath Gauntlet play a lot because you can come in for just a cheeky 10 off of a Wounded Bolt. Right, looking at Aether Hail, red, blue, Ice Vein, the full boat, Arctic Incarceration, red, blue, Brain Freeze, blue, Cold Snap, blue, Frosting, blue, Polar Cap, and then Ice Bolt, red, blue. Of course, the D reacts with Fate and Sync. And then we have Wounded Bull, Scar for Scar, and Raging Onslaught. If that very clearly needs to be updated, the Raging Onslaught needs to be Fine Dolls, of course, since that's been derated. But again, like I said, this is an older version, which is still quite effective. Polar Blast blue, and then Winter's Bite blue. And then let's not forget Scalding Rain, red and blue. Now remember, the Scalding Rain doesn't get you the Eye of Frostbite, but it can still be played for 2 damage off of a blue to be able to come in for 2 damage and then 3 off Moon, which is still pretty darn good. So again, Jude, congratulations, well executed, especially because, you just had to come in raw and play the deck, and you did quite well. And then rounding it out, that's right, good old Dylan, easily one of the best Dice Commando team folks on Ira. I had an Ira deck, and I did not do as well because I am not as good a player as Dylan. He is rocking. I actually think Dylan will do quite well, Battle Hardened. If I had to put money on it, I'd put a lot of money on Dylan. All right, so going into the loadout, 2 Kachis. He has 1 needle. He has robe, flippers, and gloves. And then for the main board, Paws, Shuko, Blood Scent, and Mask of 3 Tails. Okay, so a lot of sense there. The RTT Kitty package. We've talked about the strength of that a lot. It makes sense. So he was on Oasis Respite still, which may have made the difference. I was on Polarity, and he was on Oasis, and that seems solid. He was on, of course, the red D-Reacts for Fate and Sync. Then if we go to the main board, he's on Razor Reflex, which that's cheeky, right? Remember, that works with daggers. We had Soul Bead, of course, Bittering Thorns, Push the Point, Critical Strike, torrent of tempo, Scar for a Scar. We had Flying Kick, Stony Hog, Brutal Assault, the 2 Salt the Wounds, and then going into the blues, you can see he's playing quite a few blues. Whelming, Rising, and Soul Bead, and then Wounded, Back Heel Kick, Pouncing She, and then 1-2 Punch, right? So basically everything's got a threat coming out of that. Not all of them necessarily have their combo piece there, but they all defend for 3, and then some of them do have their combo piece, right? Remember that blue Pouncing She works with the Pouncing Paws to make the kitty, which can get you the extra link if you need it, and then you can Flying Kick, and all sorts of good stuff. And he has lots of blues, and my guess would be that the extra blues made a huge difference on the day versus Iyslander, which is typically a very, very poor matchup for Ira. So congratulations, Dylan, and we'll be tracking this deck and a lot of the other decks from our top 4 as we head closer to Battle Hardened Portland. Okay, so as we wrap this up, just a reminder that I have Commoner deck techs all this month headed into Battle Hardened Portland. Actually, I've shot so many to go beyond that, but channel members have early access for that, and if you're interested in that, join up. Otherwise, we'll see you when we see ya, and go Commando.